We are going on an amazing journey into a country that has been called the Pearl of Africa. We will meet spectacular wildlife and discover that one of the world's poorest nations can also be a tourist destination. Uganda has good travel connections and prices for tourists' needs are reasonable. Uganda lies in East Africa. It is quite a small country with a population of around 24 million. Lake Victoria lies 1,100 meters above sea level, and the country is surrounded by mountains both to the east and west. The south of the country is crossed by the equator. There are 11 large and small wildlife reserves in Uganda. We are going to visit some of the most important ones, and we will also take a look at some of the other holiday attractions. Up in the northeast corner of the country, you'll find Kidapo, one of Uganda's most beautiful wildlife reserves. The national park borders with Kenya and the Sudan. It is a good distance away from Kampala, so transport is best done by plane. There are good airfields in Kidapo. The accommodation is under renovation and will be magnificent once completed. This is a park that is not too crowded, which offers a wonderful wildlife experience. The landscape is surrounded by mountains and both animals and nature are in complete harmony with each other. The park offers excellent safari opportunities, and the wildlife are carefully protected by a team of rangers. In Kidapaw, there are about 90 different types of mammals, 30 of which cannot be found in other places in Uganda. There are also 500 different species of birds in the park. Those who travel here are recommended to spend a day in the village of Kapedo, just outside the park. This untouched community has about 1,000 Karamojong tribal people living a very simple existence. Water needs to be carried from a kilometre away. Farming is very basic, using basic tools. But everyone is happy and friendly, and there is enough work for everyone. Children ground corn into flour on a stone in their own little workplaces. People are hospitable, gladly showing us into their compound, built inside sturdy fences with low entrances. An ingenious form of defence, as it is virtually impossible to launch an attack through these gates. We leave Kidapaw and head on southwards towards Murchison Falls. This is the largest of the national parks in Uganda. There are 2 airstrips in the park. If you are coming here from Kampala, it is easily accessible by car. It will take about 8 hours by road. Murchison Falls National Park opened in 1952. There had been no hunting in the area for 40 years due to its inaccessibility and the tsetse fly. This insect can still be found in isolated areas, here and in other parts of Uganda, but nowadays it no longer carries the dreaded sleeping sickness. Nonetheless, it is a good idea to avoid being bitten by the tsetse fly. With a bit of local knowledge, you will know where they are found and can either avoid them or wear a bit of extra protection in these areas. Safaris in the park often start early in the morning, and after a while we run into this elephant that is not about to let us pass just like that. We learn a few tricks that can be helpful to know next time we encounter a tired and grumpy elephant. Just a bit ahead, a pride of lions lays in the sun. Another magnificent morning in Uganda's largest national park. All visits to the park are monitored, and all the wild animals are carefully protected. And it's for a good reason, as the wildlife can become one of Uganda's most important resources in the future. A healthy adult giraffe has no natural enemies, and this is something you clearly notice about this animal. They glide along in such a confident manner between the trees on the plains of Murchison Falls. They feed from tree to tree, and nature has it cleverly devised. When one group is fed a few minutes on one tree, a special species of fly sitting in the tree is awakened. It attacks the giraffes, which then move on to the next tree. This close cooperation between tree and fly helps prevent the trees from being completely stripped. The River Nile runs through the park, and the wildlife is amazing. Hippos dominate, but there are also crocodiles and a splendid variety of bird life. There are daily excursions up to the large waterfalls. You board the boat at Checkpoint Para, where the ferry crosses the Nile. It is a 3-hour trip upriver, and you can either return the same way or be picked up by a car for the journey back. It is probably not recommended to swim during the trip. Accommodation in the park can be found at Nile Safari Camp, which is a tented camp with full amenities right on the shores of the Nile. Swimming pool, bar, restaurant, and extremely comfortable tents with hot and cold water and a toilet. Alternatively, there is Para Safari Lodge, which offers a higher standard. It is situated a little bit further away from the Nile, a couple of kilometers beyond the other location. It is also possible to camp in tents. From Murchison, we move further south to Queen Elizabeth. This national park also offers amazing wildlife. Over 100 species of mammal and over 600 species of birds inhabit this area. The park is more easily accessible than other parks, and the safari trips are well organized. There are 2 large lakes in the park connected by the Gazinga Channel. There are daily boat trips on the channel. They're comfortable and make a nice change from a jeep safari. Remember to bring along a good pair of binoculars. don't settle for a cheap one. This is almost as important as a camera. Safaris on land are equally magnificent in Queen Elizabeth. You'll find beautiful areas with a combination of savanna and tropical rainforest. All the national parks in Uganda can be visited all year around. Be sure to visit the Kiambura Gorge when you are here. It's an incredible contrast to the savanna above. The river running through the gorge creates a totally different climate than further up, attracting other types of vegetation and animal life. In Queen Elizabeth, there are two excellent places to stay, either at Jacana, which is a luxury tented camp, or the more central Weir Lodge, which has a beautiful location on a peninsula in Lake Edward. This is the starting point of the boat trip, and the hotel offers a high standard, great rooms, an excellent restaurant, and a beautiful pool area. From Queen Elizabeth, we moved down to the southwest to Bwindi National Park. Here you can find about half of the world's mountain gorillas. It is also easy to get here either by car or by plane. The trip from Kampala takes about 8 hours. There are 725 surviving mountain gorillas in the entire world. It is in Bwindi you have the greatest chance of seeing these incredible animals. Uganda Wildlife Authority arranges well-organized tours with 3 daily groups of 6 tourists that can come along on this exclusive trip. The tour is booked and paid for in Kampala, and everything is fully organized when you arrive. We are assigned to a group with a guide and carriers. Ahead of us, 2 guides with walkie-talkies have tried to find gorillas that we can observe. The majority of tourists get to see the animals relatively close up. There is a guarantee on the trip, which means you get your money back if you're not lucky. We have luck on our side and get a real close-up. After a short while, we see a group of about 30 animals. The leader of the group is the silverback, and he probably weighs around 250 kilos. The animals appear to enjoy our company. They eat, play a little, and some of them put on a little climbing show. We're not allowed to observe them for more than 1 hour. We have to talk quietly, we don't use flash on our cameras, and we don't bring any food. In this area, 20% of the fee paid to the gorillas goes directly to the inhabitants of the area. This creates a basis for further development. It also creates general goodwill towards the tourists. When we ask to hear some music, this group join in for us, both with music and the expectation that we will buy some of their crafts. A small amount of money sets off a mighty round of applause. It is easy to get around Uganda by car. It is possible to cross the Nile at several places on barges such as this one. You can hire a small plane, and the majority of national parks have airstrips. Back towards Kampala, we stop off at the Kalangala Islands. The islands are an untouched paradise with beautiful beaches and a pleasant climate. There is very little organized tourism here.